It's officially been 2 years since I moved to Canada. I can't believe I'm saying that. But yes, it's true. 2 years. Honestly, it went by so fast, but also so slowly in some parts. When I was making the outline of this video and looking back and reflecting on all the things that happened to me in the past 2 years, I was just taken aback because I realized how much things have changed. So with all the reminiscing that I did, I want to share my real and honest opinion about moving abroad, especially when you're moving really far away from home. I think the lighting just changed and I don't have a viewfinder because unfortunately I'm filming with my phone. So I am sorry if the lighting turned bad. I'm hoping that the sun will come out again soon so that this video will look better. But anyway, I think this video is really targeted to those people who are either, thinking of moving or studying abroad, has already moved or studied abroad, and just want to hear about other people's experiences. And whether you're one or the other, I hope you enjoy this video, learn a little bit from me, and I hope you can also comment anything that I can learn from you as well, because these past few years have not been easy. And oh my goodness, I think I've opened up a little bit, or no, not really a little bit. I've really opened up about it when I posted my burnout video. Well, that only talked about the year after year zero, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna talk about year zero, year one, and now we're here in the present. But before I start with doing all those things and walking you through my journey here in Canada, I want to preface this video by saying that in no means did I do this alone. I did not use my savings to get me here or to study here. I am fully supported by my parents throughout my whole studying journey here in Canada. Also, I have family here in Canada, so my aunt lives here, and I was very fortunate to have had a place to stay for free during my first few months here in Canada until I chose, I decided myself that I wanted to be more independent, because that's the purpose of why I went here, to be fully independent. So although I have been really fortunate to have someone or a family member to help me fully support me in terms of accommodation, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm still talking about why I have my privileges here in Canada. So number one is I have a family member who was able to support me when it comes to accommodations and getting acclimated here in Toronto. And second is I am here with my boyfriend. So we came here as international students in 2023, and I have never been alone ever since. So I have not only my family members who fully support me, but also my boyfriend who fully support me and more. So yeah, I'm not alone here, and I cannot be any more grateful than that. All right, so let's start with year zero, aka the moment I stepped foot here in Canada, and that was on August 2023. More specifically, August 6th, 2023, but I know this video is not gonna be uploaded in August because I pre-film everything, but yes, I got here on August 2023. I was a new grad back in the Philippines, and then I immediately just went back to studying just in a different country. So I was definitely motivated when I came here, because it's a new country, it's a new adventure. But deep down, I was like, why do I have to be a student again? I was so burnt out in college already in the Philippines, already finished my bachelor's degree. Still, I have to study again here in Canada. But you know what? I have no complaints if these are the rules or like the standards that Canada has in order for me to have like a work permit, PR, hopefully a citizenship in the future, then I would happily abide by it. I'm just saying, like, I didn't want to be a student anymore. I remember my boyfriend and I talking about this, and we were like, if we had only went to college here in Canada instead of finishing university back in the Philippines, because our tuition here in Canada is just the same as the tuition in our university back in the Philippines, we wouldn't have to spend 2 extra years to study and, you know, just get on with it here in Canada. But yeah, I think we were just too young then. I was 18, he was 19, and yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be a great time. I know that God put us this timeline because he knows what's best for us. But I was just thinking, you know, I'm just so tired of being a student. When will I finish or be done with being a student? But anyway, 2 months after landing in Toronto, I already got 2 jobs. So I think it was a week after each other, I got offer letters in different companies. So one is in my school, which is George Brown, and another one is in a retail company called Lululemon. I think it's actually my first time sharing that in public, that I worked for Lululemon. But honestly, if you guys are looking for a job, Lululemon is one of the greatest employers I've had. I haven't had much employers here in Canada, but in Lululemon, I really felt taken care of. Aside from the commissions, the benefits are just superior. Even though I had that, oh, why am I a student again, in the back of my mind, I was happy because I got 2 jobs, which a lot of people are telling me not a lot of people who just came here in Canada can do that, like have 2 jobs within the first 2. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not comparing myself anymore to other people, so not even gonna like talk about that. Just really happy that by October, like just a month after I started school, I started earning, and I was earning quite a hefty amount, especially because of that Lululemon job. So my main reflection for year 0, aka August 2023 to July 2024, was that I felt really motivated during this time frame. I was trying a lot of new things. I was discovering so much about myself, especially being alone in Canada. Well, not really being alone, just, you know, like I've had a lot of time by myself, let's just say. And although moving from one place to another wasn't really that new to me, because ever since I was high school, I was moving from one city to another. Like when I got into high school, I moved from my hometown to Lipa City, Batangas. And then when I went to college, I went from Lipa City to Manila because I studied in VLSU. And then I decided that I didn't want to be a lawyer, so I went from DLSU to Enduran Colleges, and that is in Taguig. So I was moving from one city to another, and I was like, you know what? Let's move abroad. Let's move to another country instead, and now we're here. So I also mentioned this in one of my other videos, and I shared there how I didn't feel afraid of moving to another country, but I just felt excited because it was just a new chapter in my life. Let's move on to year 1. So year 0 was up July 2024. It was in the middle of summer, where I was working almost, I think it was more than full-time hours, because I was working a lot of hours in the library in school. I think I was working 30 hours a week in there, like almost, no, I think 25 or 24, something like that. I had a set schedule in the library, and then I was also working a lot in Lululemon. So I was enjoying summer and I kept telling myself, oh my goodness, I enjoy not being a student and just earning money. Like, money is so, I'm not, okay, I'm not, I don't want to say it, but it's so easy to save up money. Am I even gonna say that? I'm gonna say it's easier to save and easier to earn money when you're not a student, because I'm not caught up with classes, with homeworks, with tests and exams. During the summer, I felt very, very happy. My expenses stayed the same, but my income grew by so much, and I saved a lot of money that time, and I didn't want to go back to being a student anymore. I was actually like talking to myself and telling myself, hey girl, are you still are you still okay with being a student? Because this like working girl life is like making you so happy. I can't stand the thought of having to go back in school at September. But of course, you know, September will come. It's gonna be my second year of college here in Canada. And oh, I forgot to mention, in my second semester on year 0, I actually changed my diploma from marketing to accounting, because I realized I wasn't a marketing girly, y'all. Like, I'm not that creative, or I would just want my creative side to be a hobby and not like be a mandatory aspect of my life. And I also realized that I loved accounting. I took my first intro to accounting here and realized, oh no, I am an accounting girly. So on the first day of school on, when was that? Winter semester, 2024, I switched to accounting. So unfortunately, I had to overload my courses in the second year of college, because the prerequisites and stuff. I also mentioned about this in my burnout video, where I had to basically take the prerequisite and the requisite, oh my gosh, I can't talk. Prerequisite and requisite courses at the same time during my last semester in college. And yeah, basically that's the gist of my year 1. Honestly, all my problems just centered around school. Like, I was just always catching up with my courses. I was just getting burnt out with school because I feel like I couldn't catch a break. There was just one homework after the other, and then the tests and exams were cumulative, and it was just making my brain hurt because I also had 2 jobs. I was just trying to make a living, you know? But unfortunately, I had to quit my Lululemon job because I thought that it was a safety net for me. I had to give myself this pep talk and tell myself, if you're not going to quit your Lululemon job, you're going to keep it until you graduate, and you're not going to find the job that you want when you graduate. That's what I planted in my head. And so I had to quit Lululemon. Fortunately, I found another job in school as an accounting tutor. So obviously I was trying to build up my accounting career as early as I could. So I had an accounting tutor job. I was also the Board of Ambassadors representative for CPA Ontario for my college. So apart from overloading my course load and then having 2 jobs, I was also representing my school at CPA Ontario. And I had to dedicate, maybe the requirement was 20 hours a week, but I can pretty much tell you I worked so much more hours than that in some months. That really led to me burning out really, really hard. Apart from me being super stressed about all the responsibilities I have in my life, I was also experiencing financial stress, because when I quit Lululemon, which was giving me, I don't know how much I was making, but in totality, with the library job and the Lululemon job, I was making $2,000 a month. And then when I lost that, even though I had the accounting tutor job already, I was only making $700 a month with those two jobs, like the library and the tutoring combined, because I was capped in a certain number of hours when I was working in school. So yeah, that really hit me hard. I was like, oh no, I already moved out of my aunt's house at this point. Of course, I'm not gonna go back and, be all sissy about it. So I was definitely in the red. I think not starting July, but I quit Lululemon in the end of July. So maybe September, that started to like fall down. My life started to fall down. When I tried to reflect on year one, I still feel kind of like a little bit stressed and annoyed, thinking that I put myself through that. With the overloading of course load, 2 jobs and 1 volunteer role, I was really exhausted. I wish I didn't put myself through that much stress. But at the same time, I'm also telling myself, you know what? All of the stress was worth it, because I don't know. Is it even worth it? I'm like 50-50. I don't want to put myself in that position ever again, where I'm just so exhausted. There came a point where my friends kept on asking me almost every day if I even had an hour of sleep, because I looked so exhausted. I looked so pale. My eye bags were just dark. I don't want to put myself through that situation again. But at the same time, when I tell you where I am now, you're gonna be like, oh, it's worth it. So I don't know. Anyway, one thing that kept me going, I think this is the only thing that kept me going, and this is my faith. I read the Bible every day because I just need strength. I just need that that willpower from God. Even though I was so tired, I was just doing things just to do things and finish them, I was still trusting God, and I was still trusting His plans for me. I knew He had great plans for me, and I wasn't going to waste that. I wasn't going to, just give up and be like, oh, whatever, if I fail, I fail. Although, like, low-key, when I got my permanent role, because I got my permanent role before graduating. When I got my permanent role, I was like, you know what? If I fail, I fail. I mean, I can't fail technically, but if I fail the final exam, I would still not fail the class, if you know what I mean. Going back to my faith in God, I was just trusting Him. I feel like I would not be able to push through if I wasn't thinking that I am doing things for His glory. And yeah, even at my lowest point, I'm hoping that one day I can laugh about that year one in Canada and just, you know what, that's life. At least now I'm here, I'm in a much better place, and that's what I'm gonna talk about now. I'm in a much better place. I would say year one started to get better. Number one, when I finally finished my studies, when I was done being a student, I was like, nope, I am not studying anymore for as long as I can, because I know, like, the more you study, the higher your pay or the higher you can climb the ladder. But nope, I am not thinking about that right now. I am just thinking right now, I just finished. I am done with being a student. Number two, when I got my full-time job, and that was on June 2025. So when I tell you that I got a permanent role right before graduating, which, well, not really graduating, but finishing school. I finished school April 2025. I got a permanent role in March 2025, like middle of March. So, oh my goodness, I just remembered now. my last semester of school, like my last month of school, I was juggling 3 jobs. Yeah, the overloading of courses and whatnot. But anyway, we're done with that. We're in a much better place now. Let's go there. So yeah, it was only a part-time role. And even though I would love to be in the accounting field, like I was a junior accountant for a CPA, it was a permanent role and there were no opportunities for a full-time position. So of course, I had to find other opportunities elsewhere. Fast forward to June 2025, I got a position as a purchasing coordinator in the hospitality industry. And I gotta say, I've been loving it. They've actually let me dabble on in a little bit of accounting, which I'm very grateful for, guys. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I love purchasing, I love accounting. What if I just do both? I don't know. That's when life started to feel that's when life started to feel good. That's when all of the hardships felt worth it. Now I'm not living in a basement in an illegal house. Oh my gosh, whenever I realize that we lived in an illegal house, I just pity myself. Yeah. I now live in a 1-bedroom condo, guys, so you don't worry about me. I love this place so much. Now I can work on my hobbies, like doing YouTube. I actually tried to start YouTube again when I went here in Canada, but yeah, unfortunately all my responsibilities just piled up and I couldn't do anything about it. Like I had to put my hobbies in the back burner, but now I'm here. I'm so happy. Remember when I told you I wanted my creative side to, you know, not feel like it's mandatory? It's this one, it's YouTube. And I'm not that creative yet. All I do is sit down and share my life with you, but I'm really hoping that as time goes on, as I do more of these videos, I improve myself for not only for me, but also for you who are always watching and supporting my videos. One thing I'm so happy about also in this time of my life is now I get to really spend time and be there for my loved ones. I now don't have to think, oh, I only have to call them for 30 minutes because I still have a 3-hour assignment left to do, or I don't have to tell my boyfriend that we can't have a date night this night because unfortunately I don't have the money to do so. And now I can just, you know, freely spend time, quality time with my loved ones. But of course, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, right? I still have the worries that I'm still worrying about, I'm still thinking about. And one of them is my post-graduation work permit. I applied for a post-graduation work permit last May 2025 and I still haven't gotten it. And it's now August. I have friends who have moved here way before my boyfriend and I did, like a year or two before. And they got their PGWP even before a month after applying. And now it's been what? May, June, July. It's been 2 months, August, because I'm filming this August 25th. 3 months and I still haven't gotten my work permit. Now I'm like worrying, like when am I gonna get it? Or am I even gonna get approved? Am I gonna get denied? I don't know. It's just one worry, honestly, out of my control. So I'm not like worrying too much about it. It's just the timeline. And yeah, of course, after having a work permit, again, another worry is my permanent residency. I think they would give a maximum of 3 years of work permit for those that graduated with a 2-year diploma, like 2 years of studies. So I'm hoping and praying that they give me a 3-year post-graduation work permit. But even then, I don't know if in 3 years I will be invited to apply for a permanent residency. That is just scary. And I don't know, I'm just doing my best to learn French or find a job that would fit the tiers that they need. I'm really doing my best to add to the points that I need. But again, I can't control it. I have 3 years maximum. I don't even know how many years they're gonna give me, and I still don't know if they're going to invite me to apply for permanent residency. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking if I don't get the permanent residency, if I only stay here for 3 more years, it will all still be worth it. It's worth it now. Like, my hardships as a student is worth it. Again, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it because I get to live the life that I want. And if I don't get that permanent residency in 3 years, it's still gonna be worth it because I know that I was able to immensely improve on myself during my time here in Canada. And who knows, like, maybe I'm not even gonna go back to the Philippines. Maybe I'm just gonna move to another country and hopefully I become successful. I'm still relying on God's plans for me. I know He has beautiful, beautiful plans for me, and I'm just trying to become really hyper aware of the directions that He is giving me. When I think about those 2 years that I've been here in Canada, from, you know, feeling like I'm in survival mode and now feeling like I'm very, very stable, I guess I made this video because I want to inspire people and tell people that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how many videos I've said that already, but there is. I'd have to be honest, there were times where I was like, is this even gonna end? Are these hardships even gonna stop? I'm telling you now, guys, if you're like in the middle of survival mode, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. All you have to do is focus on that light, keep pushing through, even just one step at a time, one step a day, and you'll get there. This is such a long video. I'm sorry I yapped so much. But if you stayed until this part, thank you. Thank you for listening in on my journey here in Canada. I honestly can't wait to look back in a few years and, you know, watch this video again and say, oh my goodness, what a crazy little girl. What a crazy little girl. What is she saying? That's like, I'm really hoping everything's just gonna be funny to me in a few years' time. But I'm just thankful that you guys stayed here and listened to me while I yap. Now I'm gonna stop and say goodbye. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.